Hello, welcome to the election wing. On 1st September 1939, Germany dictator Adolf Hitler invaded the neighboring country, Poland. That was the beginning of World War II, the most destructive war in the world, which millions of people died, hundreds of thousands Jewish people were killed. The construction camp, entire the family are wiped out. Among these families, there was a Jewish family of Simon Inovich Zelensky. He was a young boy. He had lost his three brothers in the Holocaust. His father was also killed in Holocaust, seeing half his family die. Inovich Zelensky decided to fight against the Hitler, enlisted himself in Red Army and Soviet Union. After the year war the end, army joined the Allied forces are finally defeat the Hitler in 1945. A soldier of 57th grade motor rifle, Inovich was also the part of the victory. He survived the war, moving ahead on 25th January 1970. His grandson, Voldemar Zelensky, was born. Since his childhood, he is not interested in acting. At the age of 17, he built a career for himself in comedy. He became an actor, comedian for the Inovich's grandson, Voldemar. It was a different age than he was his grandfather. No, he didn't have life to throw a war, but he saw the corruption all around. Fed up with the corruption in his country, he decided to get into the politics to drive out the corruption from his country. He ran in the presidential election in 2019 and he is the victor. Fast forward to 2022. History take the devotional turn and war comes knocking the Zelensky's family. It is said that Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky is the target number one for the Putin and his family is target number two. The Russian forces have been told that Zelensky family is assigned to experts are to be believed. Putin aimed to overthrow the Ukraine government and established a puppet government in the Ukraine to establish a new government that the word put in direction the midst of the threat. Many people believe that Zelensky would be flee his country in the same way that the Afghanistan president has filled his country and Taliban captured the country. But it was one so Zelensky didn't flee his country. Rather, he came the forefront and give his thought to proving the speech.
Не гибридная, но если на нас будут наступать войска, если у нас попытаются отнять нашу страну, нашу свободу, наши
At the internal stage of
жизни
the
наших
innovation,
детей.
not only did he address his countrymen, but he also spoke in Russian, typing his sent message to Russian. He said that he was the no enemy with Russian. Putin is trying to brainwash people. The Putin's puppet media is trying to manipulate the Russian into a believing the Ukrainians had attacked them. He entirely the Ukrainians and Ukraine army are merely taking the defensive action. They are sitting peacefully in their country and there has been no promotion by the his clear-cut innovation in by the Putin.
Играют сдалеку. Уважаемые граждане Российской Федерации, как я уже и сказал, сегодня ночью начали бомбить жилые кварталы города-героя Киев. Всем гражданам Российской Федерации, которые выходят на протесты, хочу сказать,
Ukraine things are
мы
the
вас
changing
видим.
rapidly. At the
Это
point of you can see the status update on this map. This Ukraine map, the area under the control. The Ukrainian government has shown the yellow and the red on his map. Show the Russian forces are invading the Ukraine from the three sides. The red area has already fallen to the control of Russian military. The yellow dots on his map are the point where the bomb have been dropped or attack have been carried. But the Russian Air Force they attack military point. Mostly the weapons of the Ukraine army were spotted, but the civilian homes were also destroyed and civilians lost their lives. To the report show they how 135 Ukrainians have lost their lives. More than 1 lakh people had innovated their homes and survival of thousands of them are leaving. If you look the map once again, you will see that the south and east Russian forces have been quite successful in their mission, but the northern Ukraine, the Ukrainian forces have been holding them off bravely during this war. We witnessed some heroic stories such as the Snake Iceland has the island of South Ukraine. When the Russian forces occupied the island 13 Ukraine, soldiers refused to surrender. Even after the capture instant, they started insulting the Russian soldier in front of them. were
This is a
eventually
brutal
met
act
with.
of war. Our thoughts are with
The Defense Ministry of PF Ukraine has reported the six Russian aircraft, two helicopters, and two tanks have been destroyed, and 50 Russian soldiers were killed in the country attack. Material law when we imposed the Ukraine a state of emergency where the restriction of movement of people have been imposed. The political parties have the ban temporarily to maintain the national security and public order. Instead of police, the Ukraine soldiers are now the responsible for enforcing the law. Accidentally, Ukraine has said that every man from the age of 18 to 60 cannot be leave the country. All able to avoid the man needed to prepare their war for the 10,000 assault rifles are being given to civilians. These rifles are being the distributed among the common flocks. All they protect themselves and then stand up the fight against the Russian army. Others are taking shelter in Ukraine underground
Утра
metro
большинство
station.
людей
These
проснулось
are the
разные
stems of
расклады,
the
все друг другу звонят, суетятся. И да, и естественно, я с семьей, с мамой, с бабушкой, мы решили, что надо что-то.
On the other hand, something really surprising happened in Russia. Thousands of people starting protesting in St. Petersburg, protesting against the Putin, containing the slogan that they don't want the war and that Putin is warmonger. Here is the surprising because he know that there are the many people in Russia that do not want a war, but the protest in Russia, this is the act bravery become the Putin is basically a direct dictator. Everyone who speaks against the Putin, he jailed thousands of protesters. He be defined the Putin and Russians. They know they would be into the jail protesting against the Putin, but they are still coming out and protest. They want to show the innovation that taking place because the Putin desire. It is not the will the Russian Putin has given justification that he is carrying out the demonstration of Nazi fiction in Ukraine.
Протяжении 8 лет подвергаются издевательствам, геноциду со стороны киевского режима. В протяжении 8 лет подвергаются издевательствам, геноциду со стороны киевского режима.
According to the Putin, Ukraine has carried being the scene the world war wide from Tokyo to New York. People are protesting in the front of the Russian embassies. Many people came together at the Russian embassy in Tel Aviv, Israel, with the banners reading the Putin, the new Hitler, stop the Putin and stop war. The anonymous hacker group is famous hacker group to declare they are starting cyber war against Russia. They had shut down the survival Russian website, including a Russian propaganda channel, RT. There was a website where the many hours after the attack talking about the Indian establishment and Ministry External Affairs said that about 20,000 Indian nationals were living in Ukraine. From 4,000 40,000 people have filled the country when the Russia has announced they would launch a military operation against the Ukraine. A few weeks ago, notice was published by Indian government that the Indian living there should be evade the country, and some people believe the rest of the Indian living the Ukraine were very careless because they didn't take this seriously. Because of this, they now have to suffer. But some people say that when they had to build the flight were full, so they trapped in Ukraine. Its worsening situation, Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla said that the Indian embassies of Slovakia, Romania, Poland, and Hungary have sent out the teams to rescue operation of Ukraine border area, makeshift the facilitation of centers have been set the border areas from the Indians, so Indian who can successfully across the border can take the Air India flight from Romania capital Budapest and Budapest, the capital of Hungary. Some important number are put up on the screen. You or your family member can use this if you're trapped in the middle of the situation. In entire situation, the United States, NATO, and the United Nations haven't made any direct military response yet. I have ended by the many economic sanctions by the European countries and used the South Korea, Japan, Australia, Canada, but they have no impact on Russia. Russia hasn't supposed the invasion of fearing. Those they have made some people of criticizing NATO and the US because they aren't directly interfering by using their military. If they can send their military directly to Ukraine to fight against the Russian military, but the country agreement here is the us European country doesn't want to interfere with military again in the fight of some other country because this will be increase the chance of world war. Your sympathy should be always lie with the common folk, the common people, whether they Ukraine or Russian. We need to oppose the war. We need to against the war. We need to against the injustice. If you like our video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.